All right, I need 4 volunteers. Let me see, 4 volunteers. I'm going 1 right here, 2 right, 2 right here, 2 right there, 3 right. Let's go 3 right here, 4 right here, and let's get a 5th. Let's get a 5th. 5 right here. Come on up here, come on up. All right, you 5 are going to help me review something we talked about and we've been talking about all week long. God's got what? That's right. So we're going to put them in the right spots. Take your hands like this right here and kind of like this right here. Okay. All right. What is this? God's got power over what? Nature. That's right. Okay. Right here, I want you to take and put your hands in your stomach. Oh, like you ate way too many Pop-Tarts for breakfast and kind of go, look sick. Can you look sick? Kind of like, can you do that? Can kind of go, can you do that? Oh, good, good, good. God's got power over what? Yeah, sickness right here. Okay, I want you to take your arms like this. Do this right here. Yeah, make that cross right there. Okay, God's got power over what? Sin. That's right. Okay, here we go, Carson. You ready? Okay, kind of take close your eyes like that. Good, good. God's got power over what? That's right. And then make your, hey, I'm really shocked and scared face. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you ready? Let's try it again. Ready? Look scared. Ready? You gotta wipe the smile off your face. You ready? Look scared. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's good. Yeah, hers kind of comes with a little jump there. Okay, let me see your scared face. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Actually, some of your scared faces are quite scary. All right, here we go. God's got power over nature. God's got power over sickness. God's got power over sin. God's got power over. God's got power over. God's got what? Ladies, God's got what? Men, God's got what? That's exactly right. Okay, give these 5 a hand. You can have a seat. And we're going to give 2 handfuls of Tootsie Rolls to what in the world is in my Tootsie Rolls? Somebody has put their flip-flops in my Tootsie Rolls. The loudest group goes to the men. And you know how we say don't eat the Tootsie Rolls? They're 10 years old and they're petrified. Believe me, you don't want to eat the Tootsie Rolls. Brent Andrews, are these your shoes? All right, everybody give Brent a hand. I think he's lost his flip-flops. Brent Andrews, you have lost your flip-flops. All right, there we go, Brent. And I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer. Let me see. Right. Oh, I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Right here. Come on up. Come on up. All right. Now tell me your name. What, Jacob? Okay, Jacob. You're not going to be Jacob anymore, okay? In fact, we are going to change your look because you're going to be a guy, a character right out of the Bible. And so we should put that on right there. In fact, you know what? Oh, hey, you know, that's great. Good idea. I tell you what, let's put this on first. Okay, can I put this on kind of around? There we go, like that right there, and right there, and all right, he's looking good now. Fantastic. Okay, now Jacob, you're no longer Jacob. Jacob, you're going to be a guy in the Bible, and we don't know his name. But he had a really bad sickness called leprosy. And leprosy, you get these spots, and they would start hurting, and then they'd ooze like fluid, and then your muscles would start hurting, and your hands and your eyes, you couldn't blink them, and it was a deadly disease. And once you got leprosy, you couldn't stay in the city anymore. You had to go out and live in the country. A lot of times they'd live in caves, and when you're walking along, because they'd walk kind of weird because their muscles didn't work right, and as they're walking along, if somebody came, they'd have to go, unclean, unclean, because if you got that sickness, you would die. And one day there was this guy and he had that sickness. And then Jesus came along and this guy came up to Jesus and he got down on his knees. Okay, get down on your knees. And he looked up at Jesus and he said, if you're willing, you can make me clean. And you know what Jesus did? It's incredible. Jesus reached out and the Bible says he touched him. Now this is a guy, he'd go unclean, unclean, and everybody would go away from him nobody would touch him. I mean, he has those sores and they ooze and it stinks and nobody would touch him. But he said, Jesus, if you're willing, you can fix me. And Jesus reached out and touched him because Jesus loved him. And Jesus said, I'm willing. And as soon as Jesus said that, boom, just like that, he was totally fine. And all his sickness went away. God's got what? That's right. Give Jacob a hand. Jacob, go ahead and take those off. Fantastic. Good job. Good job. And I need another volunteer. Hey, who should be number one in your life? You know what we're going to do, Mary Beth? We're going to have a competition. And if the guys win, I'm going to choose a guy volunteer. And if the girls win, I'm going to choose a girl volunteer. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. Here we go. And so put your hands down. Here we go. Ladies, who should be number one in your life? Here we go. Men, who should be number one in your life? And one handful, no, two handfuls of flip-flop contaminated worship leader foot-touching Tootsie Rolls goes to the boys. Good job. Now I need a boy volunteer. Looking for a boy volunteer. Let me see. You know what? Here, I'm gonna come all the way around. I think right over here, I need a guy I tell you what, right here. I want you to help me come on up here. And I need a man. Brent Andrews, you lost your flip-flops earlier. Would you come on up here and join me? All right, come on up here. Now tell me your name. What's your name? Carson. All right, Carson. Everybody say, hi, Carson. Now, Carson, you're going to be a guy in the Bible too. Now, we do know this guy's name. Now, I'm going to disguise you just a little bit because we don't want people to think that this is really you. Because the guy that you're going to represent, he was not a very good guy. In fact, this guy, he was rich. Now, there's nothing wrong with being rich. But you know how he got rich? He took money that didn't belong to him. In fact, he was a traitor. You see, the country of Israel, it was being ruled by the Romans, and he wasn't a Roman, he was an Israelite. But he worked for the Romans, and they said, we want you to get this much money from the people. He was a tax collector. And that meant he would go and they'd say, we need this much money. And so he'd go collect it. But then they said, anything more that you take, you get to keep. And so he would collect a whole bunch more. He would take advantage of people. So was he a good guy or a bad guy? He was a bad guy who had done a lot of bad things. And one day, this guy whose name was Zacchaeus, one day this guy, he heard that Jesus was coming in town. Now, Brent, you don't represent Jesus. No offense. But Jesus is coming in, and Zacchaeus, he wanted to see Jesus. But Zacchaeus was short. And there's a crowd. And so Zacchaeus, he went and he climbed up a sycamore tree. So come here, Carson, I want you to climb up him. Can you climb up him? Brent, can you give him a hand there? All right, climbed up the sycamore tree and he got up in the tree. Yeah, you got to find a seat up in one of those branches there. He got up in the tree and he's up in the tree and he's watching for Jesus to come. And Jesus comes along. Now Zacchaeus knew he'd done a bunch of bad stuff. And Zacchaeus comes along, or Jesus comes along in the crowd, and his disciples are there, and he comes right under the tree, and he looks up, and there's Zacchaeus. Now, Jesus knew every bad thing Zacchaeus had done. And you know what Jesus said to him? He said, Zacchaeus, he said, today, I'm going to stay at your house. And after Zacchaeus was with Jesus, Zacchaeus was a changed man. He had done bad things. But Jesus has power over sin, doesn't he? Hey, who should be number one in your life? God's got what? All right, let's give Zacchaeus and the sycamore tree, who has his flip-flops, let's give them a hand. Good job. Thanks, Carson. Appreciate it a bunch. Even though Zacchaeus had done a bunch of bad things, you know what? God still loved him. Who does Jesus love? Me. And even though he had done bad things, Jesus could still save him from his sin.